Well, welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I got a bunch of CGC 9.8 prices, and yeah, really interesting, the whole price list, and some interesting prices I'm certainly seeing considering there's a whole coronavirus thing going on, right? It's one of those things where there's so many people at home, sort of with nothing better to do but sit around and maybe buy some comic books, but yet there's a lot of people with sort of some economic strain and, losing their jobs. And I think the employment numbers came out this morning and they were like double the people are applying for unemployment insurance and stuff like that. So, a really weird time. And yeah, so I think it'll be really interesting to look at some of the CGC 9.8 prices. We do these videos about once every 2 weeks or so now. And just look on eBay, check out CGC 9.8 prices. Yeah, so I really got a full list of great CGC 9.8 key issues that we always talk about on the channel and we like to follow here. And I think there's 4 books from the team as well. So if you have any completed listings or prices, definitely send them in to me in the comments below or on Instagram. Yeah, I have a link in the description below to my Instagram. But, so a full list of key issues here. Yeah, let's get right into the prices. I always say, like, you stay on top of these prices and you'll almost never overpay for a CGC 9.8, because once you have that knowledge of that information for the prices for all the key issues that you might want, then, yeah, there's way less of a chance of overpaying. So, full list here. They're all US dollars. They're all from eBay except the ones from the team. Some of them were from cons, I believe, this time. And I'll have a full list in the description below with the prices too, so you can kind of see the list too in the description if you want. So first book is from the team, a couple team books here. Key Hunter Keith got at me on Instagram, and he bought Incredible Hulk 447, first appearance of Thunderbolts. And it got some good details too, $216.50, and then all in, including shipping and taxes, it was $245.35. So, yeah, I think, like, I was more thinking that book goes close to $250 usually. Saw it, I believe, like, $255 kind of comes to mind. Like, I've seen auctions go for it for a nice one. So this is a really good price. I mean, if you can get it all in, shipping and taxes for about the fair value, you can't ask for more than that. And yeah, first Thunderbolts, lots of rumors that maybe an MCU movie of the Thunderbolts is in the making, or I don't know if they're going to maybe cameo in another movie or something like that. But thanks to Key Hunter Keith for getting that price at me. Next one is Old Man Ohms on Instagram. Let me know that he bought a Venom #3 third print, the very cool first Knull cover blue label, for $150. And I think right now this is a pretty good price because in other completed listings, this book is going over $200. I think someone on the team had let me know that a couple of these have sold for over $200 right now. So I would really look at this price as a really good target for a Venom #3 third print, $150. He had mentioned on Instagram, yeah, in contact with me, there's some Newton rings on it, and yeah, Newton rings, I've somewhat learned to ignore them, although it is really nice to get a case without any Newton rings, But when you do have some Newton rings, it's not too, I've over time, the more 9.8s you get, it's just, it's the comic. It's all about the comic book. And the Newton rings really have nothing to do with the comic book. It's just the slabbing process, a downfall of the slabbing process at times. So, still, $150 for this great modern comic. Yeah, Venom third print, first Knull cover. Roman let me know that he bought Uncanny X-Men 133, and yeah, one we talked about on our X-Men Keys video that I really recommend. And the first solo Wolverine comic book, basically, predating before Wolverine Limited Series, and a really cool Wolverine action cover. Yeah, like everything's great about this book. So this is a great price. He got it for $350, a really nice direct. Very well centered too. He had mentioned like, wow, it looks like a 9.9 or 10, and those are always like the best 9.8s. There's like even a better feeling grabbing those. So to grab a really nice one at a fair market value, like that's a great buy. Uncanny X-Men 133. Yeah, Key I'd recommend for $350. Great price to aim for. In a newsstand, like $400. The newsstands seem to go for a little bit more, but. Yeah, a great price. That's one to aim for Uncanny X-Men 133, $350. Next one is one I kind of forgot to mention last week. So this is, I think 3 weeks old though, but it was Villar got at me on Instagram. Let me know. He bought an Amazing Spider-Man 361, first full appearance of Carnage at his local con, and it was for $350. And I think he said the guy was asking $390, but he ended up making the deal for $350 at a local con. And yeah, I think at cons you would expect to get a little bit of a better price because no eBay fees and things like that. So usually the prices I mentioned here are, eBay prices. So, but yeah, if you can get a really nice first full Carnage for about $350, that's a fair value and a good price for certainly if you like Carnage. All right, that's the team books. Make sure if you see any completed listings or if you buy a book yourself, let me know on Instagram for those completed listings. I'll try to mention the price on the video. So full list here. Let's get into them. Obviously today, kind of like an Amazing Spider-Man 300 shrine. Well, hopefully this book isn't tilted. But the first book on the list today is an Amazing Spider-Man 300, so I ended up bringing all mine out. So origin and first full appearance of Venom, one sold in the CGC 9.8 in an auction too. Had a pretty healthy bidding pool going for this book in an auction. Pretty nice looking one, sold for $1,985. $1,985. And one thing to mention on it, this was like a new case. Like it had the whole graphic of Spider-Man on the top. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 300 in the brand new case with a cool graphic. It wasn't like perfectly centered, I really, there's 1,000 of these out there on the CGC census, over 1,000 in the CGC 9.8, even though it's extremely rare. But you can be patient on this, and I do kind of recommend to be patient on it and get one that's like really nicely centered. Because this one, although in a new case, probably wasn't the best centered. So $1,985, though, is good. If anywhere around 200 in an auction is, I think, a pretty full price to this. If you're really patient, maybe get it closer to like 1,800. But a great book I'd recommend, like the classic Todd McFarland book. Next book here is an Amazing Spider-Man 797. I never really see these in an auction, so I was kind of, it's more of a modern book certainly. It's it has to do with the first full appearance of Red Goblin, and it's an Amazing Spider-Man 238 homage, the one that sold the Mayhew variant. Because I always see these in like buy it nows, and they seem extremely overpriced. In an auction, saw one of these sell. It's $105.50, and yeah, I think that would be more of a realistic price to pay for this book rather than some of the buy it nows I see. But a really cool Amazing Spider-Man 238 homage, the Hobgoblin homage. So next book is a popular book, and I saw it sell for a pretty decent price, so I wanted to mention it. Venom Lethal Protector #1, just blue label, a red foil cover. First solo Venom book. It was $72 in an auction, so that's like a good price for that, because I think I tend to see some people kind of overpay for that, and I think it's mostly probably more noob kind of buyers that aren't really aware of the prices, but you can get that one for as cheap as $72 in an auction. I think is a good price. Next two are good kind of key issues for like really affordable prices, very affordable. New Mutants #100 in a blue label I saw sell in an auction. This is the first X-Force, so that's kind of cool. You get a pretty cool first appearance, and it was $59.88. So for that price, for first X-Force, I think this is kind of a cool book to get. I like the cover on it too. It's actually a pretty cool book, especially considering the price. Next one, in that same ilk, X-Force #11, first Domino. And saw one sell for $62 and just a couple days ago. And that's one too to be patient on. You definitely want to get it around $60. Every now and then I'll see someone like maybe pay $100 for this, and just not, you could be really patient on this and get it, for 60 to 70, I would say. But yeah, first Domino's cool. Yeah, I liked, she was probably the best part of Deadpool #2, I think. So pretty cool first appearance, where it's like her real first appearance, because she did appear before that, but it was like as Copycat, I believe. So interesting book of the time right now is X-Men #4, the first Omega Red. So I saw one in an auction sell for $142.50, and then another one in a buy now sell for $199.99. So normally, for the last like 2-3 years here, used to seeing this one go for like $100, $110. And even I would go over to my like local comic shop in the long boxes. There's like a ton of X-Men number 4s. So, you know, there's a lot of this book out there. There's so many printed of this X-Men era. So to see it kind of, I wouldn't really recommend to buy this right now. Yeah, the time to buy was sort of before these rumors or maybe a confirmation, I think it was, of Omega Red being in one of the next MCU movie. I'm not exactly sure of the rumors specifically, but a couple of those selling, and I'd lay off that one now. Yeah, so used to seeing that go for like 110, 120-ish, even 100. Yeah, I remember a lot of them going for 100, yeah. Next book is Savage She-Hulk #1, and one in an auction went for $378.01, and another one in a buy it now went for $415. And we've sort of documented this one. It blew up to $550 on the announcement that there's going to be like a She-Hulk series or something like that. And yeah, a really good example of why you don't really want to, buy right off these announcements or trailers, or if the movie's out in theater, or, you really want to buy kind of books that have no promotion or really cold, but you still like them, and then those are the times to buy. And eventually, usually something happens too, and then they end up getting hot anyway. So, but this book coming down from $550 to $378.01, $415 in a buy it now. So in an auction, you get it for $375 pretty much now. And that'll probably heat up as these like shows come out. So yeah, the lull, if you really like Savage She-Hulk, or a big She-Hulk fan, Savage She-Hulk #1 is the one to get, first appearance, origin of She-Hulk. And could be the time to buy to get in this lull, because yeah, like I said, blew up to about $550 for the past, for right off the back of that announcement, which was over 6 months ago, I think now. But it has been hot, pretty hot since then too. Next one's Totally Awesome Hulk #22. Yeah, first weapon H. Saw this in the past, like a lot of popular kind of a buy it now price if someone wants to sell it quick is $79.99. And in an auction, seeing one go for $91. So that's kind of cool. And I think what happens is, yeah, every now and then someone will come up and buy most of the affordable buy it nows, and then there's just the real expensive buy it nows, and then if an auction pops up, you can sort of have an auction go for a pretty good price. Yeah, again, so I would say 80 is more of a price you want to aim for, but 91 in an auction, not too bad. Still, if you want that book, like, what's $10? Totally Awesome Hulk, first weapon H. Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool book. Saw a good price on a Darth Vader #3, the first Dr. Aphra. Yeah, really popular, like modern Star Wars key, probably the most popular one. And yeah, saw one sell for $99.95. And that's, you could kind of tell by the listing, they were pretty motivated to want to sell. And I would say that, yeah, because in auctions, I've seen them go for like 110, 120. And I think buy it now is 150-ish. So maybe that book's cooling off, or maybe this was just a motivated seller and a good deal. So yeah, I think a price to aim for sure. Next one is the next book, sorry. This book we'll do first. Alpha Flight #33. This is the First Lady Deathstrike, basically, with a really cool cover. This is kind of one I am possibly, just one I really think is a great underfollowed one, and I would possibly buy this book, certainly for this price, if the shipping was good to Canada. Alpha Flight #33, $92.91 it went for, $92.91 in an auction. Yeah, it's like the First Lady Deathstrike. It's like Yuriko, I forget the name of the character, becomes Lady Deathstrike in this. Really cool cover though. Yeah, this is one that's underfollowed and one to grab, I think, for $92.91, good price. Next one, yeah, one I got a little excited for ahead of time. Avengers 196, yeah, really I saw one sell, and this is a good example of sometimes I talk about where an auction will pop up and it's a buy it now and it's attractively priced, and like in the listing the buyer is like saying it's attractively priced, and like maybe even in the title it says it like price to sell or something like that. So that's what it was with this one. It sold for the price that I sort of mentioned that I wouldn't mind paying in this sort of promotion-filled environment for this book. But Avengers 196 and CGC 9.8, a direct edition, sold for $869.99. And I mentioned, I was like, ooh, like $899.99, I'd probably pay that price for this book. So I think this is a pretty good price for this book. Yeah, CGC 9.8 in a new case, it was looking pretty good. It wasn't like perfectly centered or anything, but a solid 9.8. And yeah, so this is first Taskmaster, first full appearance of Taskmaster. Really cool George Perez cover, like great, awesome cover. Saw a couple of these sell for over 1,000 since it's been known that he's in the Black Widow and he's looking really cool in the Black Widow trailer. And so $869.99 from a motivated seller. These are auctions you want to keep an eye out for. Like, say if you want a specific book, like you want to look out for those auctions where something pops up and it's like price to sell, you know, or I need to sell this now, like, or sad to have to sell this really quick, but like you see that in auctions, and those are those special situations you want to look for to get deals. So yeah, this is I think in this environment with a movie, you know, maybe in 2 years' time when Taskmaster is out of this Black Widow movie and not in movies anymore, maybe you'll get it lower than this, but I think this is a good price right now. $869.99. CGC 9.8, Avengers 196. Next one is Amazing Spider-Man 347. Kind of an overlooked, I would say, Venom cover. Classic Venom cover by Eric Larson. And I think it's a Randy Emberlin team-up. 131.48 in a blue label this one went for. And that's a pretty stiff price. So yeah, this book's wanted. It is a really cool Venom cover. So that might be a little bit toward the higher end, though. I think you can get that closer to 100. It's not a key issue. It's just a really cool Venom cover. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 347, Eric Larson Venom cover. Next one, issue you'll probably know. First Gambit, Uncanny X-Men 266 in a CGC 9.8. Pretty nice one. Sold for $374.99. Wasn't perfectly centered though, and yeah, I'm still really looking for like a perfectly centered copy of this, to be honest. Like, it just seems every one I see is not centered. And yeah, it's just one I'm willing to be patient on. I don't have it in the CGC 9.8 yet. Got a nice raw copy though, so that's cool. Okay, next one here. Yeah, it was really cool to see this one sell. Secret Wars number 8. A really cool newsstand copy of Secret Wars number 8, which you don't see too much. I tend to not see them, actually. But a newsstand in a nice CGC 9.8 new case, yeah, sold for $449.95 in a buy it now. So pretty full price, I would think, for that. Maybe you get that for under 400-ish in an auction if you're patient. But also saw direct Secret Wars number 8 sell for $250. And in an auction for that one, you might get like $220, $230. We did a couple last week. I think they were like $230 something. So $250 for the direct, $450, $449.95 for the newsstand. So yeah, definitely a newsstand more wanted, and you don't see it too much in the Secret Wars number 8. This is the origin of the symbiote costume. Yeah, the really cool symbiote key. That black costume key. That very collectible. So $449 for the newsstand though. Yeah, pretty. Sometimes I don't mind paying up for like a great looking. And this one, when I saw it, I was like, wow, that does look pretty good. And yeah, it's, you know, that's a decent buy for $449. Maybe a slight overpay. Next one, Uncanny X-Men 221. First, Mr. Sinister. Saw one of these sell $199.99. And these were really sort of dipping to even around $150 area. But I think the ones I've been seeing lately have really been firming up around $200. And for a while, I had mentioned, like, in the last year or two, this one I really went for, like, $220, $230. Really, last year, dipping down to, like, seeing some really juicy prices last year, at the end of last year in CGC 9.8s around $150. But yeah, a lot of 200s lately, so that's good to see. First, Mr. Sinister, yeah, really classic villain, and whispers of him being in the MCU, possibly. I think he'd be a really good MCU villain, because he's not like Thanos, where he's, like, super powerful. He's just like a schemer, like he's like behind the scenes, and like he's just getting all these other people to do his deeds and stuff. Like, yeah, he's. I think they could really do well with Mr. Sinister. Next one is a really cool book that I was doing the research for this book on my Underfollowed video, but didn't end up including it. It's a Daredevil 158. It's the first Frank Miller Daredevil, and it's like probably the biggest key from this era. There's the first Elektra, which is a really big key too, actually. That's probably a bigger key, to be honest. First Elektra, a couple issues later, or like 10 or 20 issues later in the Daredevil run. But from this whole run at Daredevil, so collectible, and this is the first Frank Miller Daredevil work, and he nailed his Daredevil is super classic. $529.99, a Daredevil 158 CGC 9.8 white pages, newsstand version, looking awesome. Was doing the research for this that Underfollow video, didn't include it, but I did see it, and I was like, wow, like for around $500, that is a pretty great investment grade book, and it sold. Yeah, so for $529.99, the first Frank Miller Daredevil 158. Next one is, yeah, kind of cool too. Fantastic Four 243. I was watching this one. I talked about this on a couple kind of underfollowed videos and $100 videos, like of one to recommend. It's the John Byrne Galactus cover of Fantastic Four 243. A really popular John Byrne Galactus cover. In the CGC 9.8 one sold for $165. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like the fair market value on Go Collect. But I had saw there was like an auction maybe like a month or two ago. One went for like 130 something. So if you're patient at an auction, maybe you get it for like 125, 135 or something. But a cool cover and someone who, you know, paid 165 for it, I think is a fair price. And yeah, if you want it, that's a really good price, I think. Okay, last book here is there's two prices on it. It's really interesting just seeing the two prices. And there's some context too, because in the last couple weeks this book had sold. But Blue Label Venomverse #1, the sketch version. This is a McFarland Venom cover. A really popular modern McFarland Venom cover. The sketch version is really rare. So Venomverse #1, like 2 weeks ago I did one on a video and it was $5.75 on one of our pricing videos. And I mentioned like that's probably like a buy it now, pay up, to be honest, for this book. So yeah, I think it turns out it really was. So $5.75 was that buy it now. An auction had went. I saw one go for $460.55 in an auction, and it was a well bidded auction with really nice pictures. So I think that's a really fair sort of firm auction price. But also saw this book sell last week for $234.40. So $460.55 and $234.40 for this Venomverse #1 sketch cover. So a huge range, and then last week $5.75. So I think for these modern books that are pretty rare, but yet they're still modern, they have like a really cult niche type of market. I think it's best to be really patient on it, and hopefully for this one and books similar like this one, you get it closer to $234.40 and not $5.75, which is I think a pretty kind of a paying up price for this book. Yeah, a popular modern McFarland book, the Venomverse #1 sketch variant, but still one I wouldn't recommend to pay $5.75 for, and hopefully you pay $234.40 for it. Okay, yeah, great list of key issues there. Yeah, always great to see like an Amazing Spider-Man 300 in like an auction, just a fire sale auction go. A nice one too, not perfect. I kind of think mine too are better, to be honest, which is kind of makes me feel good that it's pretty right near that $2,000 price. And then that Avengers 196. Yeah, I hadn't been really on top of my searches for that one, refreshing my searches, and one slipped through for $869.99. And yeah, definitely look out for those buy it nows where for whatever book you may want, a buy it now may pop up. It's not a best offer, it's not an auction, just a buy it now. And if the guy's like, you know, oh, I really got to get rid of this for whatever reason, those are sometimes worth jumping on. And when you know the pricing information, like from these videos, you can recognize what is a really good price a lot easier. So yeah, these pricing videos definitely, I think, help for that. So, all right, thanks so much for watching today. If you haven't already, I invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we're over 1,000 subscribers. We're kind of knocking right around it. So yeah, and I know I said a big thank you on my last video, but thanks again for the whole team. Just the support in the comments and taking the time to subscribe and comment means a lot. And yeah, it's I just want to keep doing videos, being pretty consistent with it. So yeah, thanks always for watching. Yeah, and if you haven't, definitely subscribe. So thanks for watching today, though. Glad I can bring up my Amazing Spider-Man 300 shrine. I've had the comics falling everywhere here, but thanks so much for watching today. Yeah, again, the team's strong, over 1,000 subscribers now, so really thankful. And thanks for watching, though. I'll see you on the next one.